Right now, we're seeing 25 to 30% degradation of benefits. There is no independent trust fund for Social Security. Politicians that were there before I got there took Social Security out of the independent trust fund account, put it in the general operating account, and they spent it up. In the 1950s, you had 16 and a half people working for every recipient of Social Security. Today, you're down to 3 to 1. In 3 to 4 years, that's supposed to be 2 to 1. If we don't get people back working, if we continue to monkey around with payroll tax cuts, because you're not really providing people $40 a month, you're defunding Social Security. For the first time, Social Security ran a deficit when we started with this payroll tax stuff. Now let's talk about this thing about Medicare. To do nothing means there's no Medicare for anybody. Now I don't know how many people in here have ever been in an ambush. I have. If you're in an ambush and you do nothing, people are going to die. Medicare is in an ambush. We're trying to do something to protect and preserve Medicare for future generations. The average American is paying about $110,000 to $115,000 over their life into Medicare. They're getting closer to $300,000 back in benefits. People have no control in this Medicare thing. And to cut $575 billion out of Medicare, which is exactly what Obamacare does, to institute 15-member panel of unelected bureaucrats that will do the price control measures on Medicare, that's not the solution. The solution is to give the American people options. If you're 55 or above, there is no change. So I don't know what people are talking about. I'm 51 years of age. If we don't do something about it, it's not there for me in 14 years. But if we try to come up with some type of solution, at least I will get this. I will get the opportunity to say I can go into a premium support plan, which is exactly the same thing that every federal government worker has right now, to compete for insurance programs for themselves. Or I can choose to go into traditional Medicare. Last year, the #1 PolitiFact lie of the year was that the House GOP wanted to end Medicare. So stop telling the lies. Stop with the fear mongering. Something has to be done or else it's gone in 8 years for everybody. And that's my answer. Let me talk about veterans benefits. Okay? I sit on the Armed Services Committee. I sit on the Military Personnel Subcommittee. Something that just came from the Obama administration through the Department of Defense is that they want to triple the TRICARE healthcare rates for veterans. That's not me saying that. That came from the administration. And when we had the Department of Defense Undersecretary for Health Affairs sit in front of our subcommittee hearing and ask him one simple question: how can you look veterans in the eye? Men and women have given 20 plus years of their service, men and women who have lost their limbs, and tell them that you're going to triple their health care rates. He tried to explain it in the means of economic terms, but what we're talking about is about 9 million people. That's less than 0.5% of the population of the United States of America. We're going to make them the bill payers for the foolishness in Washington, D.C. It's a moral issue that we're not going to allow to happen. Now, I retired as a lieutenant colonel. My TRICARE rates right now $460 a year for myself and for my wife, and my kids are still, of age. Tripling it will mean it goes up to $2,200. Now, yeah, I could take care of that. But think about the person that got out as an E6 or an E8. Think about the person that maybe is wounded and had to get out as an E5. And you're going to triple those rates? That's going to destroy them. It's a moral issue, and we've got to do better. George Washington had an incredible quote. He said, future generations of Americans will judge whether or not they will serve this nation based upon how well we treat our veterans. We got to do better by the men and women who took an oath to ensure that you can sit here today and have the liberties and freedoms and enjoy the democracy that you have.
Congressman. Okay, the next question, sir, is around Roth IRAs. Right now, for married filing jointly, if AGI is above $178,000, you are forbidden from contributing to a Roth IRA. Don't we want to encourage funding our own retirement accounts? When will Congress overturn this rule?
I don't sit on the Financial Services Committee, but I will take that up to the Chairman, Spencer Bacchus, because I believe that it is important that we seek every means possible we can spend on investment and enable Americans to take care of their own investment accounts. Some of the things I do believe we're heading the wrong way on. Capital gains taxes, the proposal is to take it from 15% to 30 to 35%. Dividends taxes, the proposal is to take it from 15% up to about 44.1%. How many people know about the death tax? Okay, we're looking at increasing the death tax, but even worse about increasing the death tax, we're going to take that cut level from 5 million down to 1 million. When you go out and you talk to the farmers, you talk to the people in the citrus industry and the ranchers out here, you know, how are they going to continue to pass on to subsequent generations that legacy of farming that they have when they have to worry about now these death taxes and other things of that nature? So we have to do the right things. I don't want to see production and manufacturing go to a stagnant state in the United States of America, and that means investment has to be out there. You know what happened on April the 1st, April Fool's Day, just a few days ago. The joke was on the United States of America. We now have the highest corporate business tax rate in the world at 39.6%. But when you add in state corporate business tax rates, which are on average anywhere from 4 to 7%, that's why we don't have a lot of production and manufacturing here, corporations here in the United States of America. They go to places like Hong Kong, where they have those business-friendly type of tax rates. But even worse, we got to understand that when you talk about raising taxes on these top brackets, small business owners don't operate from a corporate business tax rate. Small business owners operate as subchapter S or LLCs. They use their personal income tax rates. How are we going to turn this thing around and get more of those closed storefronts open up if we continue to have tax and regulatory policies that are so onerous? In St. Lucie County, thanks in part to the Dodd-Frank law, you're down to about 2 small community banks. What's the lifeblood for small businesses? Those small community banks. Every time someone comes up and talks to us in the Committee on Small Business, the number one concern is access to capital. It's drying up. So yes, I want to see investment. I want to see us have the right type of tax policies and regulatory policies so that individual Americans can once again grow their investment accounts, but even more so, we can grow business here in the United States of America. We can attract other businesses from other parts of the world to come here. We got the greatest weather, the greatest venue in this country, right here in Florida. Just as you have the BGTI and Torrey Pines, we want to get more research, more cutting-edge technology to come here along the Treasure Coast. The Marine Industry Association of the Treasure Coast, we want it to grow. We want that port possibly to be a better facility so we can bring better tonnage in. Remember what happens in 2014? Panama Canal expands. We want to get some of that tonnage coming in here so we can get those second and third order effects of job creation right here. Government has to set the conditions for the individual American citizen, their entrepreneurial spirit, and the free market to be able to be successful.
Short one for you. When are gas prices going down?
Well, I tell you what, if you guys remember the show Bewitched, I wish I could twinkle my nose like Tabitha used to do and do it. Look, one of the key things, we got to open up more of our federal lands for energy exploration. All of that. We have got to have a full spectrum development of energy resources here in the United States of America. From, like I said, oil, natural gas, to coal, to nuclear, to hydrogen. Florida Atlantic University is doing a great job looking at tapping into the Gulf Stream. We got to look at our biofuels. We got to go down to the renewables. But the renewables, wind and solar, is not going to be the answer for everything. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, the 5th solar company that had been subsidized with federal government dollars just declared for bankruptcy. You know, how many people here know about a thing called Scarabeo 9? Scarabeo 9. Okay, Scarabeo 9 is a Chinese-made oil rig that was rented out to a Spanish company called Repsol, who in conjunction with the Cuban government is now placed 55 to 60 miles off the coast of Key West, drilling in waters that are deeper than Deepwater Horizon. Scarabeo 9 meets no standards of the United States drill platform, but yet our current administration